everyone, welcome to SLNS IAS Academy's Current Affairs. So let us see all the important topics for our exam preparation. So let's start our discussion with the first important topic, that is Universal Immunization Program. So what is immunity basically? It is the resistance against the disease causing pathogen. Okay, so it is the resistance against the disease causing pathogen or any other microbe. Okay, so this program is initially guided by the United Nations Expanded Program on Immunization in 1978. So it started in 1978 and in 1985 it has been expanded or rebranded as the Universal Immunization Program, UIP. This topic is very important for us in our prelims as well as mains preparation, right? So when in 1985 it was expanded from urban to rural areas, making it a nationwide program for immunity. So which ministry is implementing it? So it is the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare in India is being the nodal agency, right? What is the purpose or what is the objective? So it aims to provide the free of cost immunization vaccine preventable diseases. For those diseases where the disease can be prevented by the help of vaccines, those vaccines will be provided for the targeted groups. Who are the targeted groups? They are the newborns and the pregnant women. Okay, so in these people, basically the newborns, the infants, the immunity will be very less. So they are the target group and they will be given almost 12 important vaccine preventable diseases, right? So which vaccines will be coming under the Universal Immunization Program? We have completely 12 vaccines where the 11 will be given in the entire nation and one vaccine will be given in the endemic area. Means in a particular region this disease is present. So the disease is basically in that localized region. So 12, that is 12. Here we have 11 vaccines and one is the endemic areas, right? So number 1 we have the diphtheria. Number 2 we have pertussis or the whooping cough disease. Number 3 we have the tetanus vaccine. Number 4 polio vaccine. Number 5 the measles. Next the rubella vaccine, the childhood tuberculosis, and the hepatitis B vaccine, the pneumococcal pneumonia, the rotavirus diarrhea, the Haemophilus influenza type B, which we call it as HIB, related to meningitis and pneumonia. Okay, so meningitis is something related to the inflammation. Okay, pneumonia is the lung inflammation, and the endemic vaccine diseases. So here we have the 11 vaccines and the 12th one is the endemic area vaccine, that is the Japanese encephalitis, okay, which is only given in particular region where the disease is present in that particular area. So we have the 12 important vaccines which we need to remember, these 12 vaccines, right? What is the significance? Why we are studying about this? Why the vaccines need to be given to the targeted groups? So who are the targeted groups? Newborns and pregnant women. Okay, so what is the significance? It is the largest public health program in the entire world where 12 different type of vaccines are given to these targeted groups. So this is also very much important in reducing the child mortality. Okay, so child mortality is basically divided into two different types of mortality. One is infant mortality, okay, which we measure through IMR, infant mortality rate, and under 5 mortality rate. So the children dying under the age of 5 years. So this number will be reduced by this universal immunization program. That is why this is very, very important program, which again supports in the Sustainable Development Goal 3. So we all know there are 17 Sustainable Development Goals, right? Where the SDG 3, which is dealing with the health, that is the good health and well-being. So the mortality, higher the mortality rate, less the good health and well-being. So this immunization program greatly supports India in achieving the Sustainable Development Goal number 3, right, which need to be attained by 2030. So these 17 goals which need to be attained in 2030, right? So these are the important facts you need to remember about the universal immunization program. So the next important one for our examination, we need to study about the LEADS 2025. What is the full form of LEADS? The logistics is across different states. So what are logistics? So logistics basically is a commercial activity of goods, transportation to the customers. Okay, so it talks about the different infrastructure support where the goods will be supplied to the customers. So it talks about the infrastructure, equipment, etc. Everything will come under the logistics. So we have this index LEADS 2025. So in 2018 we have started this index, and now we have the 7th edition of the LEADS index. So who is preparing this index? It is the Department for Promotion of Industry and Internal Trade, which we call it as DPIIT, which is a very prime department under Ministry of Commerce and Industry. This is very important. So under which ministry it is coming? It is the Ministry of Commerce and Industry. Right. What is the purpose of this index? Why the ministry is giving the index every year? So it produces a benchmarking logistic performance across various states and union territories. So which state is performing better will be measured by this index. Right, it helps identifying the strength, gap and best practices in the logistics sector. So we all know that logistics sector is playing a very crucial role in the Indian economy. So we can easily identify like which state is performing better, which state is not performing better, what are the reasons behind their performance. Everything can be known. If any state is innovating a separate practice, then we can take the best practices of that state and also implement in the weaker states. So for this purpose, we have started, the Ministry of Commerce and Industry have started the LEADS 2025. Next, so origin is, it is started in 2018 on the similar lines of World Bank's Logistic Performance Index, LPI. So World Bank's index is LPI. On this lines only we have introduced the LEADS, right? So what is the framework? Means what are the 4 pillars for this LEADS index? So we have the number 1, the logistics infrastructure. Number 2, logistics services. Number 3, operating and regulating environment. Number 4, the sustainable logistics. So based on these different pillars, we are preparing the LEADS 2025 index, right? So you need to remember them so that you can answer the questions in the exam easily, right? So what are the categories of the LEADS index? So we have the coastal states category, we have the landlocked states. Because why we have separated these two? Because you know that India is a peninsular country where the land, Indian boundaries are surrounded on 3 sides with water. So the coastal states, the landlocked states where we don't have any water as the boundary of that state, and the northeastern states. So we have the special category of northeastern states because their socio-economic and cultural differences are different. Okay, so the way they deal with logistics will be different, right? And also the next one is the union territories. So these are different categories in the Leeds Index. And the top states according to the Leeds 2025 Index is, first one is the Gujarat, the second one is the Karnataka. So you need to remember the top states as well. These are the important facts in our exam point of view. So next, what are the new features in the Leeds 2025? Why is it special? So they have added one important one, corridor level performance assessment, where we have 5 to 7 key corridors. Basically, corridor is a linear structure or a region. So this can be a roadway, or that is a national highway, or this can be a railways, or this can be a waterway region. So this economic region will be a linear in form, where the economic activity supports this area, right? So here this time we have identified almost 5 to 7 key corridors. So, and we have measured the performance of that corridors based on what? Number one, we have the journey time. Number two, we have the truck speed. So with how much speed the truck is able to travel from one point to the point of destination, right? Number three, we have the waiting periods. And number four, and the other important one we need to remember is the API enabled evaluation of section wise speeds on major road corridors. So another important one where we are seeing is the evaluation of speed of the vehicles on a particular road. So these are being the pillars for the assessment. Okay, so this is the Leeds 2025. And the third important topic, we have the cold start exercise. So what is this cold start exercise? So it is a tri-service military exercise. So primarily you need to understand that our military is consisting of the Army, Air Force and the Navy. Okay. So whenever we are saying a tri-service military, it means the inclusion of Army, Air Force and Navy participating together. Okay. So here this is a exercise where we have the participation of Army, Navy and Air Force. So where does this happen? It happened in the Madhya Pradesh. This is very important for our prelims point of view. Right, what is the objective? Why they have conducted this cold start exercise? Okay, so to evaluate the efficacy of drones and the counter drone systems. So what are drones? They are the unmanned aerial vehicles. Unmanned aerial vehicles. Okay. So here we are going to evaluate the drones and the counter drone systems. So what are counter drone systems? So they are the counter mechanism against the enemy's drone systems. Okay. So we are going to evaluate the performance of our drone systems and to test the interoperability of the three services. So with how much coordination and cooperation these three services are able to protect the drones and also to counteract the foreign drone systems, etc. will be a test, will be a drill, mock drill type of exercise. Right, what is the scale? We have the largest such drill since the Operation Sindoor. So in May, we have started the Operation Sindoor, which is a tri-service. Means what? In this Operation Sindoor, the Navy, the Air Force and the Army together has participated. For what? To eliminate the terrorist regions in Pakistan as well as in the Pakistan occupied Jammu and Kashmir. Okay, so in these two regions we have conducted a operation called as Operation Sindoor to remove the terrorist camps. Okay. So that after that incident, Operation Sindoor, this is a tri-service mock drill conducted by the Indian military. What is the significance of this? So it enhances the jointness and synergy among the armed forces. So whenever there is a attack on India, we can able to exercise the interoperability. So we can exercise the interoperability of our military services in a very better way. So that is the one important significance. And also it helps in preparing modern warfare challenges, including the drone warfare and the emerging technologies. So this type of mock drill will create a chance for seeing the type of challenges which will come at the time of any foreigners intrusion, right? So it is a part of India's effort to strengthen defensive and offensive capabilities. So it will strengthen, so this type of exercise will strengthen our defensive and offensive mechanisms. So this is about the cold start exercise. Okay, so this is again important for our prelims point of view. The next important current affairs is the Adi Yuva Fellowship. So fellowship is a stipend or scholarship we call. So who launched this? So so it is the Ministry of Tribal Affairs under the Adi Karma Yogi Abhiyan. So Adi Karma Yogi Abhiyan is a model for decentralization of governance. Okay. So the power must be reached to the grassroots level population, that is the tribal population. Okay. So who is supporting this? It is supported by the United Nations India group. Next, what is the nature? So it is the first of its kind. That is why it is very important. Okay. So first of its kind for the tribal youth. That is important. Next, what is the duration? For how many months the stipend will be given? It is a 12-month paid fellowship. So who are beneficiaries? Of course, the selected tribal youth from across India. So it is a nationwide selected from the tribal youth, right? What is the objective? To empower the tribal youth through structured learning opportunities. So this is very important. Structured learning opportunities. So stipend generally motivates the students for a better learning opportunities, outcomes, right? So it will provide mentorship and the professional guidance as well. So through this scheme, we are enhancing their mentorship. Mentoring means they are being provided certain kind of guidance. So this is very important fellowship program which will be important for our prelims exam. So these are the important topics. Let's continue our class. Okay. So these are the important topics for today. Let's continue our class tomorrow. Thank you.